Whoa, wow, you guys. I mean, last night I was celebrating my girl's B-Day. Obviously, shout out the Bay. So obviously, yeah, I woken up this morning. I'm feeling a little bit tired. Of course, had to have a few drinks in that last night. But the way I've had to quickly wake myself up, because with our football club, you guys, when the news breaks, the news is really breaking. Today, I'm going to be focusing on the massive story that has come out from The Athletic, and that's the club's plans to make a massive, incredible move for Erling Haaland this summer. I'm going to break the story down. I'm going to tell you guys some things I've heard as well, plus giving my thoughts and opinions. And for the second story, I'll be speaking about how Tomori is set to sign for AC Milan on loan. Massive news daily video, you guys, so smash the like button today. But to start with the first story, to get this news out of the way first so I can focus entirely on the massive story today, let's speak about Tomori's loan moves to AC Milan. Now, this story came out late last night by Fabrizio Romano, who confirmed that Tomori is set to sign for AC Milan on loan for the season, and it seems that both Milan and the club agreed to allow Tomori to leave on loan by accepting Milan's option to buy set at 30 million euros to allow this deal to get complete. Now, I'm going to stress this again as I stressed in the previous Tomori video because, based on the comments, I felt like a lot of people still misunderstood. But at this club, we've allowed many players to leave on loan over the past few seasons, and I'm going to use Bakayoko as a prime example. Bakayoko's gone to Monaco, he's gone to AC Milan, he's gone to Napoli as well, and the one thing that links every loan move is the option to buy at the end of the deal, which was never ever activated. So just because Tomori has an option to buy does not guarantee he is set to leave and that we have to buy him for 80 million in the next few years. It doesn't work like that. For me, this is a very ambitious move for Tomori. I rate it in big, thick energy. And I feel he's going to need that big, thick energy because he's going to compete against Romagnoli and Kjaer as well, who have formed a pretty strong defense in Serie A this season. Now, we can complain about Tomori having to leave. As I've said before, blame the board for not selling off squad players to allow these guys to get the game time, because the squad guys, it's the Euros this summer. If they're not playing for the national teams, you can imagine the mayhem that's going to happen behind the scenes. The reality is Tomori believes in himself, he has high potential, and he wants to play consistently. He doesn't want to be a squad player at a big team. I rate this move entirely, and good luck to Fikayo Tomori. And now, we focus on the massive story that came out this morning. I'm going to speak entirely on Erling Haaland and his potential move to us this summer. Now, to start things off, let's break down this Athletic report. As the report states, the club are looking to make a big money move for a top striker this summer. Haaland has interest from Manchester United, Man City, and Real Madrid, with Madrid rumoured to be the favourites at this point in time to sign him. It's not the first time we've heard this about targets. Has that ever stopped us? The report states we're willing to sign Haaland at any cost. Now, due to COVID and the financial impacts that it's had for many of the top clubs across Europe, most of our big rivals prefer to make his signing in the 2022 season, and I'm going to explain why when I give my thoughts and opinions, so just bear with me, you guys. The report states that with Olivier Giroud being 34 years old and destined to leave eventually, and even though Tammy Abraham has shown promise as well, Haaland is seen as a signing that can make us strong competitors for the EPL and for the UCL as well. The report ends by stating that there is still belief in Werner, and Werner is seen as someone that can complement Haaland, whatever that means. Now, you guys, I'm going to be giving my thoughts and opinions, but to do that, I have to tell you exactly what I've heard. And the news that I've heard for a while now is that Haaland has been on the radar for a long time, and this move would be entirely dependent on the board because this is a board move. This would be a board signing. So you guys in the comments below, give me your thoughts and opinions on that news. Do you feel that the board should be stepping in, taking responsibility when it comes to making signings of this nature? Or do you feel that the manager should have the final say in regards to how he wants his squad to be to compete throughout the season? Get involved, comment below. The reality is though, is that Haaland has been someone on our books for a long time. I remember speaking about him for a few years now, and the first time he really came on our radars was when Haaland scored 5 goals for the Norwegian under-21 team, which put him on the maps of every big club across Europe. Now, to analyse the story even further, the fact that we are willing to make a move for him in this summer window instead of the 2022 summer window tells us that we're looking to do a Havertz in the window again. I mean, the way this transfer ban has absolutely helped us financially when it comes to competing to sign these big name players. Due to our strong financial position and going off reports that came out from the club's books saying that we made a profit again this year, we can afford to skip the queue to sign Erling Haaland. Now let's break down Haaland and his release clause, because I'm sure all of you guys know. If you guys that don't know, in the summer of 2022, you can actually activate this release clause, which is set at 75 million euros, which is around 66 million pounds. This means that if you wanted to sign Haaland before that window, of course, you're looking to pay even more money, which for me would tell me that, okay, he would cost over 100 million easily, because when you just include the cost it takes to sign Haaland, on top of the agent fees, which we can never forget because Haaland's agent is Mino Raiola. And of course, there is a bit of bad blood between us and the club, because the club feel like Raiola stopped that move for Lukaku all those years back, even though they were stalling and stalling and stalling, which for me, you don't do that with guys like Raiola. So this move could easily be, just off my guesstimation, over 120 million, who even knows. Now I've got a theory. If in this next 12-month period, Haaland was to sign a new contract, possibly, which, at this point in time, I'm guessing his wages aren't that high for one of his first big contracts. But if he signed a new one, which dramatically boosted his earnings, meaning he could be sold at a relatively, sane release clause, could that be something that confirms we have a chance? Who knows? But I'm just thinking, you guys, if Dortmund know they can sell him in the 2022 window for a certain amount of money, if you want to buy him beforehand, you have to pay whatever it takes and whatever Dortmund want. Now, of course, this news is exciting, but there's still some ramifications and details that we have to analyze and talk about. But before I get into that, stories like this as a fan, sometimes you have to go into fan mode, you get a little bit gassed, and I'm sure we all thought instantly of the reports that came out not too long ago when Haaland was asked if he could play with any former player throughout football, who would that be? And he said Frank Lampard. Now, could Lampard have that pull power again, which we've seen throughout last season in regards to helping us sign Haaland? Of course, because he's a legend in the game that every young footballer looks up to. That's the reality. However, you guys, of course, there are the ramifications as well. What if Lampard doesn't want to sign him? What if this means that the club don't see Lampard as a future manager for the next few seasons? And of course, what does this mean for players that could be sacrificed when it comes to signing Haaland? Because there's no way we're adding a player of this quality to our existing forward line, considering we have Giroud and Tammy Abraham. How could Tammy react to this news? I think there's a reason why he has not committed to signing a new contract, and could that be the club taking advantage of that situation? Potentially, but at the same time, maybe Tammy could even remain at the club. You have two top forwards in Tammy Abraham and Haaland. Maybe there could be ramifications for the players that like to play down the left-hand side. I'm looking at Werner, I'm looking at Pulisic, I'm looking at Hudson-Odoi. Could one of these guys be sacrificed in making this signing happen? It's something to think about. Of course, with how balanced the squad is right now, is a Haaland signing necessarily the one that we have to spend so much money on to take us to the top? Could that money be invested in other areas like in midfield and defense? Could argue that we do lose games due to, certain frailties at times in these positions. But also, you can also argue that a lot of times we aren't winning these games because we're not burying these chances in the back of the net. And with Haaland, because of course, I have to speak about this guy's ability. Haaland is one of the most outstanding goal scorers in Europe right now. His finishing ability is ridiculous. I mean, he ends these moves. He can shoot with power with his left foot, his right foot. These shots are first time as well. Very hard for the keepers to make saves because of the power behind his shots. And considering how he plays as well, I mean, this guy leads the line. He presses intensively. He runs and runs and runs. And his movement for me is Cavani-esque. I think he is like the next Cavani when it comes to that, because it's like it's in his DNA to constantly look to disrupt the defensive line, to constantly make runs in behind, to not give up. But at the same time, let's not forget Haaland, even though he scored like 35 goals in 35 games for Dortmund, he is 20 years old. He can still improve in other areas in his game, like his ability to play in tight spaces, his ability to hold up, to bring the rest of the team in as well. And I personally think at Dortmund, for my own opinion, there's a reason why they sell all their young guys for big money, because Dortmund play such, not a unique style per se, but such an attacking style of football that they're bound to have their young guys being involved, getting goals. And when you look at Haaland's goals, a lot of them are coming in open spaces that I feel you just don't get in the Premier League. So I'm not saying that Haaland can't translate his form to this league, of course not. I mean, not only can he score, but his physicality as well is ridiculous. I just think that the Premier League does bring up different questions and players. But regardless, you guys, these are things I can discuss in future videos because expect me to speak a lot more about the story. The reality is, we are spending again in the summer, and as I was saying all throughout last season, and sometimes I feel like the things I say gets forgotten about so easily, but consistently last season I was saying expect there to be probably one of the biggest, greatest windows this summer. I'm telling you guys again, we're looking to spend again. We are looking to spend again this summer. We're looking at Rice, we're looking at Upamecano, we're looking at Haaland. I mean, it's absolutely mad, and I think no one can ever say this club lacks ambition. But you guys know I'm going to wrap things up, keep things moving. There is going to be a preview out for the Leicester game later today, and of course, please watch my talking points video dissecting the Fulham game, you guys. I love making them. I love doing the tactical side. Tell me what you think. I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lions TV. I'll see you guys later today with some more videos.